again with the town of supervisor, Bob Wicks, for the town of Lysander. And Bob, thank you again for taking a Tuesday morning and getting through some technical difficulties with me again. But what can you tell us what's been happening in the town of Lysander?
Well, we're pretty much opened up the town. The governor's executive order only allows us to have 50% of our non-essential employees here. So the other 50% are working from home, but pretty much running. But the town building isn't going to be open. The town building isn't going to be open until the governor allows us to open. He's really the one in charge with this right now. And like with the court system isn't allowing the courts to open up until the end of the month. So we have to follow those rules. So for the courts and the town building, they won't be open to the public, but we're open for business. And if you need anything, you can call and someone will get back to you.
Nice. That's good. And I mean, I know people are starting to get itchy. The weather was nice. Chief Leffencheck had mentioned over the weekend they had more social distancing issues all around the Baldwinsville School District. Not major problems, just more people out and about, so it's harder to stay apart, right?
Well, people are going to get out. I mean, that's just the way it is. You can see it around the country. People want to get out, and some people don't think that that we need to do this social distancing to the extent that the governor and some other people are encouraging us to do. Now, I'm not a physician, but I know that people are going to get out. And if you do get out, one of the things that you want to do is you want to make sure that you wear your mask. And if you have, that's one of the things, if you have one of these masks, can you see it, Shelley?
Yeah.
Okay. If you have one of these, there's blue on one side, white on the other. You wear the white side in. Some people aren't sure how to wear it, but the white side in, there's a metal strip at the top. You put the metal strip at the top and form it to your face and then cover your face. Now, you can wear your own homemade mask. You can wear bandanas. They're all fine. But if you are going to get out, you still, when you're outside, everything that I've seen, if you keep that 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet distance from somebody with mask on, you're not very likely to infect or be infected from somebody else. Now, again, those are, I'm not a doctor, so I'm only giving you the information that I've been hearing. And on a sunny day like today outside, and it's pretty sunny out, that's supposed to kill the virus. So if you are going to get outside, I would encourage you to make sure you have your mask. And if you're walking with you or your family members, you don't need to wear a mask. I mean, you're in the house with, but you need to have your mask with you so that if you come up on somebody, you should put it on or walk far enough away where you're going to maintain that 10 or 15 feet.
Yeah, we did just have somebody ask where they can get masks. I know there's some people advertising on Facebook that they're making masks. I was in a gas station in Lakeland the other day, and when I walked in, he had an advertisement, 10 masks for $10, something like that, like the ones that you just showed, the blue and the white. So I don't think the masks are in as short a supply as they were for a while, just because stores are now getting them in. But what I'll do, Bob, since someone asked the question, when we're done, I'll post a link to a couple places where people can get the masks that they have.
Yeah, you can get them on Amazon as well. Amazon has them, but if you make your own mask, they're just as good. The only thing about the surgical mask, and $1 a piece right now is a pretty good price. I'm paying $1.25. I just got 500 of them in. And I got orders all over the place. Now they're starting to come in. I got 5 different orders. I just got the first one today, and I've had them out for about 2 weeks. But if you can get these surgical masks anywhere from $1 to $1.25, that's about the going rate now. And just to show you how much they've been inflated, I heard a thing on 60 Minutes on Sunday, and the hospitals are running out of them as well. But the cost for them has gone up enormously because they were paying 6 cents a piece for these before. Now they're paying $1.25. So,
I was talking to somebody, not to get you off subject, but it's relevant, I think, is the ripple effect of all of this. So right there's case in point, the cost that they're paying for those masks, they're going to have to make up the money from somewhere. And I was talking to a couple local business people who The one gentleman, he makes sandwiches, and he said the cost of tomato, just to put 2 slices of tomato on a sandwich. Ivory green floors, they were talking about the cost of getting the flowers in. So I'll be curious to see what the ripple effect of all this is, but it doesn't equate to our health. Like, our health is more important, but I think the cost of this is going to affect us for a while.
The cost is going to be, there's going to be a large increase on things. We just can't go, they can't keep going like they are. I mean, you just look at the masks. Now the stores are going to have to pay for the masks, so that increases their cost. The cost of trucking, because they can't get truckers. The cost of meat, because they can't get meat. And that's one of the other things. People are starting to go out and buy large amounts of meat. I guess you have to do what you have to do, but I pretty much eat a vegetarian lifestyle, and you can get by with beans, pasta, and things like that. So you're not going to starve to death if there isn't any meat. In fact, it might be a little bit healthier for you. But if you do go out, you're going to start seeing that. People are going to start hoarding meat. Now the cost of meat is going to go up. And the governor and also the county executive, I think I expressed this in the past, they're facing big deficits. So I don't know what we're going to do here, but it's going to cost us all a substantial amount more for everything that we purchase, I think.
No, I agree. Kind of connected to that, I don't know if you saw this story that was I read it online this morning. There's a local CNY gym that says they're opening before May 15th, just because the 15th is a Friday, and they felt that enough is enough, and they want to be able to stay in business. They feel like they can meet the requirements for social distancing within the gym. Do you think we're going to see more businesses like that they're going to go against the governor? I mean, I don't know how wise it is, or is it a case by case? What's your thoughts?
Well, you're starting to see it all around the United States. I mean, in some states, our governor is, he's doing what he thinks is right. And whether you agree with him or not, that's really the law. Now,
I think Bob just got a phone call.
Back? Are you there?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a call. Some of these other states, in my opinion, I think the governors are overreaching. When you can't go from your own house to your own camp, I think that's unreasonable. The governor here hasn't done that. Now, when it comes to gyms are breeding grounds for infection. If you go into a gym, you're going to bring your own sanitary wipes and things like that, because that could be a problem. That's a problem. That's always been a problem with different types of MRSA and things like that. So I think people are going to have to make up their own mind. Do they feel comfortable enough to go into these?
And we lost Bob completely. So I will talk to you for a minute, see if Bob's able to join the stream. Nina, you asked about the town hall meetings open to the public. I know that, Bob's hoping that will be something that will happen soon. When he does open, he's going to open slow. So the employees, they're going to come back in. Most likely it'll be one of the phases. If you read, there's phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. I don't see that being phase 1. They'll expect us probably be able to get the information out to the public from the town meetings in different ways. But I would hope, before the end of summer, like some of those gatherings are going to help. I know phase 4 is the entertainment, which is what a lot of us are missing. The movie theaters, bowling, activities, those items are things that we would definitely want to have happen and be a part of. But, and I think Bob's back with us. Oh, we can't hear you, Bob. Can you hit your microphone a couple times?
How about now?
There you go. Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay. Right.
While that was happening, just to kind of catch you up, Bob, Nina had asked about when town hall meetings would be open to the public, and I was telling her that probably wouldn't be phase 1. I would think it'd be closer to like the phase 3 or so, when gatherings like that could happen, because phase 4 is the entertainment section. So just while we were waiting for you to come back, I kind of covered that question, just making sure that I'm not incorrect in telling her it definitely wouldn't be phase one.
No, you were right. Then that again, that's going to be up to the governor. I mean, we're in the business of following rules, so we're not like a gym. We can't the rules. We're going to have to follow the rules, and right now the rules are you can't have. They want places closed. So for the time being, it's going to be closed. As soon as I can open up, I'm going to open it up. We don't, we want the public to be able to use the building to come into the meetings, but we're going to follow the rules. And when they tell us it's okay to do it, as soon as they tell us, it'll be open. But I don't see it. If I was to guess, it certainly wouldn't be before the end of May, maybe even before probably through the end of June. I think that would be a reasonable estimate from what I've been seeing. It's because they're going to have to open it up in phases. So the end of June will probably be the time period when we'll start opening up meetings and the town hall.
Going back to your conversation about the gym and just the fact in general, there's people that don't like gyms because of this, the germs and everything. What about if they were to run outside classes? I know Aspen sometimes uses the parking lot over there off of 57, and and they run like outdoor type of things. I mean, is that something we talked about a little bit with restaurants and stuff? Do you think the spring and summer, maybe some outdoor things would open up a little bit sooner than the indoor stuff?
I think that's the way to go. I mean, everything that I've seen, if you're outside in the sunlight and you're out in the open air, you're less likely to contract any type of virus from somebody else. And certainly if you're 10, 15 feet away, it's much easier to get 10 or 15 feet away on the outside, and you ran outside classes. I think that's a great idea. I think they should open up the restaurants. Now, this is just my opinion. I think
Right.
they should open up the small businesses to outside al fresco eating and dining so that they can get these businesses back to work. That's the problem. People are out and they're struggling. There's a lot of people out of work and they need to get back to work. So if you're a small business owner and your gym's your livelihood, I can understand why they're doing what they're doing. But is it safe for everybody? Probably not. Is it safe for some people? Probably. And certainly, like you said, those outside classes would be a great idea.
Yeah. So, well, I guess time was going to tell, if they open up a few things and the amount of cases, they don't rise, then maybe a few more things will happen. And, that's the part that we just can't predict. So,
well, we'll see what happens with like Georgia open up in some of these other states. It'll be interesting to see what happens in those other states. If they are able to open up the way they've been open with limited seating and things like that. I know I've seen it down in Florida. If they're able to do that and they don't really get this big spike in the number of cases, then that might be good for us. It might be good for everybody else. Because I don't think that even the experts know what's really going to happen. They're just going out their experience and their best guesses.
yeah, that's true. As far as locally here in the town of Lysander, was there anything else that you wanted to kind of cover or get out to the community this week?
Well, the water's kind of high on the river. I'm up pretty high. I got a 4-foot wall, and it's about 6 inches from the top of my wall. It's never been over the wall, but right now it's as close as it's ever been. And I've seen a lot of people out in kayaks and things like that. Some people don't have vests on. I used to run the navigation unit for the sheriff's department, and we used to pull people out of the river when they were doing crazy things on boats, and people would go out on boats without their vests. If you're going to go out, I think you should go out on the water, but just wear your vest because it doesn't take long to get swept down. And with the way the river's moving, it's not as easy to swim in it as it is normally. So if you are going to go out, just make sure that you have a vest, you stay closer to the shore. Don't get close to the dam. You're probably not going to make it over. Our parks are still closed. You can use them to walk and things like that, but the facilities aren't open. And I don't know when they're going to be open. It doesn't appear that they're going to be open anytime soon. We're also looking for there's a couple of roads by Budweiser that back into Budweiser, and they're off the grid kind of. There's no cameras, not a lot of traffic there, and people are dumping trash on those roads. It's Loop Road and Brundage Road, and I've gotten a lot of calls from residents and other people traveling down the road. And right now, there is a lot of trash along the road. So I'm going to talk to a couple of the board members, see if one of them would be willing to take up this initiative and look to get some volunteers to clean up that area. So that might be something if you're interested and you want to get outside. We're going to try and clean that area up, and it's not a long area, but there's a lot of trash, there's a lot of junk there. So you might want to keep your eyes open for that, because we're going to try and get as many volunteers as we can to clean that up.
Nice. We missed out on Earth Day. I know some people went out individually and did some cleaning up, but I'm always amazed, for as clean as Baldwinsville looks, how much stuff is gathered on Earth Day, just throughout the town, throughout the school district. So that might be one of the reasons too that area is maybe not as nice and kept as it normally is. The people just weren't. We didn't have the groups of people like the school. I think a couple of the sports teams get together, the Rotary gets together. The Boy Scouts get together. We just couldn't get together and really do an Earth Day cleanup this year. So it's good to organize something and get that kind of cleaned up in those areas.
Well, that area is used by out-of-state truckers. I don't think I'm sure there's some local traffic that people are just lazy and they come down the road and they're just throwing their trash out there. But most of that stuff, I believe, is from out-of-state truckers coming in and doing business with Budweiser, and they have to have their trucks cleaned before they go in. So I'm going to contact Budweiser, try to see if collectively we can come up with some resolution to that problem. But in the meantime, we're going to try and clean that area up.
Okay, that makes sense. So, okay. Well, I know that it's been a pretty week. We've gone to a couple parks outside of Baldwinsville. We went up to No Falls State Park and stuff. And seems like those parks are getting utilized. Our parks have a lot of people through them. Today's beautiful. Out my window, I see people walking constantly past. So hopefully people are getting out and enjoying the warm weather, staying away from getting the COVID-19 wearing their masks. Any other updates? Anything else you want to share with us, Bob, before we call it a week?
Well, I think we covered a lot of things, and again, if you're going out, people are going to go out. Just try to if everybody tries to protect themselves, stay away from people, keep that distance. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Be conscious of what's going on, because the last thing that we want to do is to go back to a similar situation that we were a month ago, where we're locked inside our house and not being able to get outside. People will go get a little stir crazy with that. So hopefully people use good common sense. If you are going into places, I don't know if people are going to go to a gym. I'm not going to go to a gym right now, but if you're going to have to make sure that you protect yourself, don't rely on somebody else cleaning equipment that you might have used. It's going to be some work if you do go into a gym.
Yeah, that is 100% true. And I like the idea of outside classes, online classes. There's still ways to get the workouts in if that's what you're looking for, and still keep yourself safe and everybody else safe as well. So, well, thanks again for your time, Bob. And I look forward to hopefully next week hearing something about things that can open, or more people becoming essential. That would be great news, I think, for our area and Central New York in general.
All right. Thanks again, Shelley.
Bye.